It's midnight, and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Sabrina Zainal. The top stories. EM orders speedy approval of development projects. And DBKL Deputy Director, Enforcement Officer charged with soliciting 200,000 ringgit bribes monthly. Good morning. We'll begin with this story. The federal and state governments, as well as local authorities, must enhance the speed of approvals without compromising existing regulations. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this was to ensure that Malaysia was seen as an attractive destination for investors in the region. In a statement posted on social media on Thursday, Anwar said although the country has recorded positive economic growth and an increase in the speed of development approvals, the Madani government will continue to strengthen its agenda to ease the process of doing business. Earlier, Anwar chaired the 45th National Physical Planning Council meeting, a platform for discussion between the federal and state governments on matters related to urban, rural and land use planning in the country. In the meeting, the Prime Minister said they also discussed mechanisms for controlling and managing rare earth element mining activities. This should be balanced with economic returns while considering environmental sustainability and avoiding disruption to protected forest areas. Anwar also stressed that the synergy between the federal government and state governments will continue to be strengthened to create a more holistic development planning landscape. Some 1.6 million civil servants are in for good news on Friday when Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announces the details of the civil servant salary adjustment mechanism. The Prime Minister is expected to make the announcement at the 19th Civil Service Premier Assembly event, which will be held at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre. The salary raise, which is expected to be between 15 and 42.7%, will put smiles on some 1.6 million civil servants, allowing them to alleviate financial pressures and reduce the burden of the rising cost of living. The announcement is highly anticipated by the public sector workforce, who have not received a significant salary raise for many years.
Saya juga berharap dengan adanya kenaikan gaji yang akan diumumkan nanti ini, ianya akan mengurangkan lagi keluhan pelanggan-pelanggan apabila berurusan dengan pejabat-pejabat kerajaan. Kerana bagi saya apabila sesuatu telah diberi yang baik diberi kepada kita, sebagaimana biasa kita perlu membalas dengan sesuatu yang lebih baik.
Public Service Department Deputy Director General for Operations, Datuk Muhammad Syaiful Ibrahim, had earlier said all civil servants will receive new salary rates starting December. He said a calculation service will also be provided at the event for those who want to calculate their salary increase. Meanwhile, more than 16,000 small-scale rubber tappers and oil palm plantation smallholders have registered for the 200 ringgit monthly cash assistance under the Budi Agri-Commodity Program as of August 13th. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said the figure was not overwhelming compared to their total number, which is about 300,000 in the peninsula.
Jadi apa yang kita buat, kita pergi turun ke bawah, agensi-agensi macam MPOB, Lembaga Getah, Lembaga Koko, Kenaf, all this, kita bawa turun, semua pergi ke kawasan ni untuk diorang daftar. Jadi kita tolong dia daftar. Macam tadi ramai orang pergi daftar, siapa daftar, clear, hantar ke MOF, MOF akan lulus. Dia tak boleh reject sebab kita sebagai agensi, kita sebagai kementerian, memang kita dah check kelayakan dia. Dah okey, bila hantar MOF dia kementerian.
Johari said this to the media at the Budi Agro-Commodity Program at Taman Agropolitan Rantau Manis in Gumusang, Kelantan on Thursday. He said the government only set a few conditions for them to apply for the aid. To encourage more rubber tappers and small-scale oil palm planters to register, he said all agencies under the ministry have been instructed to assist the group.
Malaysia's second quarter GDP results. The figures that matter. Key export sectors, supply chain changes and oil prices. What impact did domestic policies, consumer spending and FDI have compared to regional peers? Money Matters with Malaysian Economic Association President Dr. Yakim Lang this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL Deputy Director and an enforcement officer were charged with soliciting and receiving bribes to protect premises allegedly involved in prostitution on Thursday. Muhammad Irwan Abdullah, 44, and Zahari Muhammad, 34, however, pleaded not guilty when they were brought before Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court Judge Dato' Anita Harun. They were accused of soliciting a monthly cash bribe of 200,000 ringgit as an inducement to refrain from taking legal enforcement action against an unlicensed entertainment outlet near Puchong in February. They were charged under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act 2009, which carries a maximum 20 years jail term and a fine of not less than 5 times the value of bribe, or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher. The duo was also charged with accepting a monthly cash bribe of 160,000 ringgit from the 62-year-old caretaker at the same place and time. Irwan also faced an additional charge of accepting a bribe of 130,000 ringgit from the same individual at the restaurant's parking lot around 9 p.m. on June 5th. The court set 15,000 ringgit bail for each of the accused and fixed September 30th for mention. Police have classified the death of singer and YouTuber Muhammad Nidza Afham as sudden death. Selangor Police Chief Dato' Hussein Omar Khan said the cause of death was, however, pending laboratory investigation. In a statement on Thursday, Hussein said that no physical injuries were found on the 23-year-old victim's body. He added that the post-mortem was conducted on Thursday at 11 a.m. and concluded at 3 p.m. He also urged the public who have any information to come forward and assist the investigation by contacting the South Klang Police Headquarters at the provided number or any nearby police station. In Pahang, a 28-year-old housewife who was reported missing on Thursday was found dead, believed to have been strangled in her house in Indra Mahkota. The victim was found unconscious by her husband in their bedroom. Kuantan Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Wan Muhammad Zahari Wan Busu said the victim's father lodged a missing persons report after not being able to contact her. He claimed that he last contacted his daughter at 8:30 a.m. through WhatsApp. At 7:30 p.m. the same day, the victim's husband called him to inform that his daughter was found unconscious in the house with strangulation marks on her neck. Her remains were sent to the Tengku Ampuan Afzan Hospital for autopsy.
Sejak ni kita tangkap ada 4 orang lah, satu perempuan, 7 lelaki. Jadi kira ahli keluarga dia lah, untuk siasatan lanjut. Jadi dia punya riman sehingga 21 bulan 8.
The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. In Malacca, the prime suspect in the brutal murder of 33-year-old Istiqomah Ahmad Rozi is expected to be charged in the Alor Gajah Magistrates Court by Monday. Alor Gajah District Police Chief Superintendent Ashari Abu Sama said police are expected to submit the investigation paper into the case to the Deputy Public Prosecutor by Friday. Ashari noted that police are awaiting further instructions from the State Prosecution Director once investigations conclude. The victim, a teacher at SK Kota Masai 3, was reported missing after she failed to return home from work on December 27th last year. On January 6th, the decapitated body of a woman was discovered in a rubbish bin along the Alor Gajah Tampin Trunk Road near Kampung Rimau, Pulau Sebang at about 2 p.m. Police then arrested a couple, aged 36 and 37, in Timor Perak on August 6th, and they were remanded for 7 days. The interrogation of the 2 individuals led to the discovery of other body parts 6 kilometers from the initial discovery place of the victim's body parts. The male suspect, who is an acquaintance of the victim, had his remand order extended until next Monday, while his wife was released on police bail. The full report on last year's Elmina air crash is set to be released on Friday by the Air Accidents Investigation Bureau, AAIB. The report is expected to shed light into the cause of the tragedy, which took the lives of 10 people. Now, the release of the final report will be in accordance with International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, which allows for a 12-month period from the accident to finalize such a document. It's expected that the final report will include the final 30 minutes of the tragedy, as mentioned by the preliminary report released on September 15th last year. The AAIB had said the voice recording was successfully retrieved, but was left out from the preliminary report to help with the analyses and understanding of what happened prior to the crash. The Elmina air crash saw the Hawker Beechcraft 390 Premier 1 crash in Bandar Elmina, Shah Alam on August 17th last year during its final approach into the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport, Subang. Japan halts transport services as another typhoon approaches. This and more from the foreign front when Nightline returns.
Kenaikan nilai mata wang ringgit dan juga pasaran saham yang menjunam, apakah kesan kepada ekonomi rakyat?
Eksema, apa kaitan dengan musim panas?
Kezaliman terhadap haiwan, pantau kelakuan anak-anak.
Juga wajarkah pelaksanaan lesen dipenuh?
Soal awang kita bicarakan tentang tips untuk membeli rumah lelong.
Jangan lupa temu janji kita di Malaysia Hari Ini setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 9.30 pagi di TV3.
Kita stream secara langsung, ditonton.
Diving deep into the business world.
With expert insights and in-depth analysis.
The latest trends and developments shaping the country, region and the globe.
Key insights into finance.
On Money Matters.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m.
On TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Lagu Top 5 Music 39. Semuanya dalam Music 39 Ahad ini jam 12.20 tengah hari di TV3 dan stream secara langsung di aplikasi Tonton.
We're back with the foreign front. Thailand's governing coalition on Thursday said it had agreed to nominate 37-year-old Paetongtarn Shinawat as a candidate for prime minister ahead of a parliamentary vote. According to party sources, the Pheu Thai party's board endorsed Paetongtarn as PM candidate after its MPs voted earlier in the morning to nominate her instead of other PM candidates Chai Kasim Nitisiri. Paetongtarn was chosen as a much younger and healthier candidate, while Chai Kasim reportedly has health issues. Observers said the MPs feared that Chai Kasim could face another constitutional court ruling regarding his integrity, as he was the Attorney General who had ordered public prosecutors to drop the bribery case against Pichit Chunban. Lawmakers will vote on Friday in Parliament on whether to approve Paetongtarn as Prime Minister. Negotiations over a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal are set to resume on Thursday in Qatar, as health authorities said the Palestinian death toll has now passed 40,000. The United States, Egypt and Qatar will be joined by Israeli representatives in Doha. However, a member of Hamas's negotiating team has confirmed that the group will not attend. Hamas said that it will re-engage if it receives a clear commitment from Israel on its latest proposal, and has informed mediators that it is willing to meet with them after the Thursday session if there are developments or a serious response from Israel. Meanwhile, Gaza's health ministry announced that the death toll among Palestinians had now passed 40,000 people, a grim milestone that underscored the scale of the war's toll on the enclave. Japan is bracing for the impending arrival of Typhoon Ampil, which is set to hit the eastern regions, including Tokyo, on Friday. The seasonal storm, categorized as very strong by meteorologists, is already causing major disruptions across the country. Transportation services, including trains and flights, have already been significantly affected. The country's two major airlines have reported to have canceled about 500 flights in total, affecting more than 90,000 passengers. Major parts of Japan's bullet train network were also scheduled to be canceled on Friday. As of early Thursday, Typhoon Ampil had sustained winds of 140 kilometers per hour and is expected to strengthen further, potentially reaching the equivalent of a Category 3 hurricane. In Australia, more than 100 Liberal Party candidates will be unable to run for council in New South Wales after a monumental stuff-up saw the party miss an election nomination deadline. Now, as many as 140 candidates from 16 councils were failed to be nominated for next month's elections after not lodging their bid by midday on Wednesday. Several long-serving politicians will automatically be out of a job, and constituents of 8 councils will not have a single Liberal Party candidate to vote for. New South Wales officials, however, say they legally cannot accept late entries, with one of the top election analysts estimating the party to likely lose about 50 seats. State Party Director Richard Shields, who has been blamed for the nomination debacle, has since apologised and blamed limited resources for the failure. The World Health Organization, WHO, has declared the Mpox outbreak in parts of Africa a public health emergency of international concern. Its chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, on Wednesday said the disease has now spread across parts of Central and East Africa, and scientists are now concerned about how fast the new variant of the disease is spreading, as well as its high fatality rate. He also noted that the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying, stressing that a coordinated international response is essential to stop the outbreak and save lives. The highly contagious disease has now killed at least 450 people during an initial outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo. Over in Taiwan, no immediate reports of damage were reported when a 5.7 magnitude earthquake struck off the east coast on Thursday. According to the Central Weather Administration, the earthquake hit at 5:06 p.m. local time at a depth of 9 kilometers, with its epicenter about 40 kilometers south of Yilan County. The tremors could be felt in Taipei, with authorities saying subway services continued at a lower speed immediately after the quake. Fortunately, Taiwan's fire department said the quake had not immediately caused any major damage. It also reminded the public to beware of landslides in mountainous areas. Negeri Sembilan earns first gold. Action from the 2024 Sukma after this breather.
Diving deep into the business world.
With expert insights and in-depth analysis.
The latest trends and developments shaping the country, region and the globe.
Key insights into finance.
On Money Matters.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m.
on TV3 and stream on Tonton. Kekal Cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Kenaikan nilai mata wang ringgit dan juga pasaran saham yang menjunam, apakah kesan kepada ekonomi rakyat?
Eksema, apa kaitan dengan musim panas?
Kezaliman terhadap haiwan, pantau kelakuan anak-anak.
Juga wajarkah pelaksanaan lesen dipenuh?
Soal awang kita bicarakan tentang tips untuk membeli rumah lelong.
Jangan lupa temu janji kita di Malaysia Hari Ini setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 9.30 pagi di TV3
dan stream secara langsung ditonton.
sports now, the 2024 Sarawak Sukma. Wushu exponent Wong Zi-hong performed well on Thursday, despite having a fever, to deliver Negeri Sembilan's first gold medal after winning the men's Taiji Chuan. Zi-hong, making his second appearance after winning bronze at the previous edition in Kuala Lumpur, had no choice but to soldier on after coming down with a fever on Wednesday. The 20-year-old from Seremban impressed the judges with performance and grace to earn 9.596 points to take the gold. Lee Cheng-yang of the Federal Territories took silver, while Sarawak's Mok Xiao Yuan settled for bronze. Earlier, Selangor's Mandy Sibel Chen became the first athlete to secure 2 gold medals after her impressive win in the women's Taiji Chuan. Just a day after claiming gold in the women's Taiji Jian event, Mandy continued her exceptional form to dominate the Taiji Chuan final, scoring 9.606 points to top the podium. Huan Yongxin from the Federal Territories had to settle for silver with 9.600 points, while Sarawak's Carmen Jia Min Chao took home the bronze with a score of 9.573. On to football, the 2024 Saudi Super Cup. Skipper Cristiano Ronaldo started the football season in style by starring in Al Nassr's 2-0 semi-final win over Al Ta'awun. Ayman Yahya gave Al Nassr an 8th-minute lead, scoring from just inside the 6-yard box after a well-timed assist from Ronaldo, who capitalized on a fine run and cross from the left by Sadio Mane. Al Ta'awun pushed hard in search for an equalizer, but it was Al Nassr who sealed the victory with their second just before the hour mark. Ronaldo finished off Sultan Al Ghanim's pass with a low shot that found the back of the net. The victory sends Al Nassr through to a final showdown on Saturday with reigning Saudi Pro League champions Al Hilal. Tennis now, the 2024 Cincinnati Open. Yuri Lehechka pulled off a remarkable upset on Thursday by defeating former world number 1 Daniil Medvedev in the second round. Lehechka, who had just recovered from a back injury since the Madrid Open, emerged strong to edge out the Russian 7-6, 6-4 in an hour and 39 minutes. Lehechka is set to face home favorite Frances Tiafoe, who defeated in-form Italian Lorenzo Musetti 6-3, 6-2 in the third round. In another match, world number 1 Jannik Sinner was given a tough test before defeating American Alex Michelson 6-4, 7-5 in an hour and 51 minutes. The Italian will next face Australian Jordan Thompson for a place in the quarter-finals. In the women's category, Iga Swiatek survived in her return to hard courts, outlasting Varvara Gracheva 6-love, 6-7, 6-2. The world number 1 will take on Marta Kostyuk of Ukraine next in the round of 16. Karambit-wielding suspect linked to Molotov cocktail attack. The details when we come back.
Wanita hari ini. Perasan tak, tengah kita gembira, ada je orang komen tak puas hati.
Inilah golongan joy killer yang tak suka tengok orang lain bahagia.
Kami nak kongsikan pelbagai menu telur minggu ni.
Ada telur ikan, ayam, telur itik, telur soto, macam-macam ada.
Sekufu dalam perkahwinan dan juga persahabatan.
Sejauh mana kepentingannya, jom kita bincangkan.
Perasan tak, ada perbuatan kita yang kadang-kadang mengganggu emosi seseorang.
Tekanan mental jangan dipandang remeh.
Bersangka baik dengan pasangan.
Elak fikir yang negatif.
Semuanya di WSHA TV3.
Dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Diving deep into the business world.
With expert insights and in-depth analysis.
The latest trends and developments shaping the country, region and the globe.
Key insights into finance.
On Money Matters.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m.
On TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Pengalaman membina keyakinan diri sekaligus mencetus inspirasi.
Bergantung pada kita lah. Kalau kita pada rasa happy akan kerja-kerja ni, maka benda tu akan jadi mudah.
Kerang kita makin lama makin pupus. Kerang Pelas Batang memang special. Dia punya rasa manis.
Sebenarnya warna ni adalah earth tone colour. Sangat sesuai digunakan untuk konsep Inggeris moden.
Saya seorang multitasker, keep going, percaya pada mimpi. Hai, nak tahu perkembangan saya, Syahzabe? Jangan lupa untuk saksikan Nona hanya di TV3.
Thanks for staying with us. In Perak, 2 people were killed and a child injured in an accident involving 2 vehicles on Jalan Kuala Kangsar, Manung on Thursday. The state's Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director of Operations, Sabarodzi Nur Ahmad, said the 7 a.m. accident involved a car and a multi-purpose vehicle. Sabarodzi said they were alerted to the incident at 7:36 a.m. and the deceased as well as the injured victim were traveling in the car. A female driver and a girl seated in the front passenger seat were killed instantly with their bodies pinned to their seats. The second child, who was seated in the back, suffered minor injuries, while the driver of the MPV escaped unhurt. The deceased and the injured victim were taken to Kuala Kangsar Hospital. The operation ended at 9:10 a.m. and the case is being probed under the Road Transport Act 1987. Police on Thursday confirmed that the man arrested for brandishing a karambit during a football match at KLFA Football Centre last week is the same suspect wanted for a Molotov cocktail attack on an entertainment centre in May this year. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Rusdi Muhammad Isa said this was based on statements from witnesses, closed-circuit television camera recordings, as well as interrogations on the suspect. At a media conference on Thursday, Rusdi said the suspect also had past criminal records.
Dia ni ada wanted satu kes, ingat tak? Ada orang baling molotov cocktail. Molotov cocktail di hadapan pusat hiburan. Inilah orang dia. Inilah orang dia. Yang ini pun kita telah akan cadangkan akan dituduh di bawah Seksyen 435. 435 ni yang suspek tu lelaki tu orang yang samalah.
Rusdi added that the suspect is expected to be charged at the Kuala Lumpur courts on Friday for brandishing a sharp object as well as for the Molotov cocktail case. He said the suspect would be charged under the Corrosive and Explosive Substances and Dangerous Weapons Act 1958 with unlawful possession of corrosive and explosive substances and the carrying of offensive weapons. The suspect, said Rusdi, would be also charged under the Penal Code for committing an act which could endanger personal safety and that of others, as well as for mischief by fire with the intent to cause damage. In Perak, a 39-year-old Iranian inmate at the Tapa prison was caught with 76 grams of heroin in his possession on Wednesday. The state's police chief, Dato' Azizi Mat Aris, said prison officers on patrol had apprehended the inmate. At a media conference on Thursday, Azizi said the man was alone, facing the wall and looking suspicious during the 1:15 p.m. incident. When the prison officer approached the inmate, he was seen taking something from his trousers and throwing a red plastic package onto the floor. The officer inspected the plastic and found 2 transparent packets containing a yellow substance suspected to be heroin.
Hasil semakan mendapati banduan berkenaan telah disabitkan kesalahan di bawah Seksyen 39B Akta Dadah Berbahaya 1952 dan telah dijatuhkan hukuman penjara selama 30 tahun. Banduan berkenaan telah berada di penjara Tapah sejak tahun 2018.
When asked whether the man was involved in the recent attempt to smuggle drugs into the prison using a drone, Azizi said that police were still investigating the matter. On August 13th, Azizi said police had taken statements from 5 Tapah prison warders regarding the recent attempt to smuggle drugs into the prison using a drone. Asked whether police have questioned inmates regarding the drone case, Azizi said it was still in process as it is part of the ongoing investigation. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as India celebrates its 78th Independence Day on Thursday, themed around the slogan Viksit Bharat, or Developed India. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe, Malaysia.